Today, we're going to be adding dead space marines to the bases of our miniatures. If you have friends who play marines, you might want to get the edge on them by placing their soldiers' dead bodies on your bases before the battle has even started. Now, so long as you have the right bits, this is actually a really easy technique to do, and it looks great. So to start out, I raided my bits box. I found the torso of a space marine that was already glued together, and I found 2 arms and a weapon. We're going to start by cutting out our base. Ideally you would already have one, but I couldn't find one, so I just used my bandsaw and I cut out a base. Now, the first step here is to take spackle. Now, my choice is flexible modeling paste from Liquitex, but this would work equally as well with any other product such as wall filler, spackle, or a modeling compound. If you're really desperate, sawdust with PVA glue, and that'll make something that gives you the same effect. All we had to do here was start by putting a thick layer of this down on our base. Next up, we're just going to push our Space Marine's torso into that so that he's slightly sunken in. After he's in there, we just need to take each arm and position it in a way that looks natural, as if he died like that. Now, when you do this, you might realize that there's a few gaps forming between the torso of the body and the arm, just because of the angle that you placed it. Now, don't worry about this, because next up we're going to add rocks, and it's really easy just to add a little rock in there, and it's going to totally cover it. Another method that you might use is by adding a tuft of grass. It's a really easy way to cover something that would otherwise be quite challenging to hide. So, you'll see me do this in real time, and this has taken me literally 1 minute to do. It's so fast and it's so easy. After the marines in there, I'm just adding some rocks. Now I'm using cork here, but you could use anything that gives you the texture that you like. It could be small pebbles from your garden, could be chunks of wood, or it could be bits from your bits box. I put this in the sun for a few hours and it was dry. It was ready to be textured. I just took some PVA glue, put a thin layer down, and then poured on my texture. This is just a mixture of sand and gravel. After putting this down, I went over the whole marine with the base of that brush and just made sure there were no bits of sand on the marine and that there wasn't a lip of sand forming. After that was dry, the base has been made. I just needed to move on to painting. Initially I started with a black spray paint. After a little while of trying, I accepted that the spray paint was empty and the base wasn't sprayed yet. This was actually a good mistake though, because I moved on to white, which ended up complementing my color scheme that I go with later a lot better. With the white sprayed down, I took the model inside and I was ready to start painting. To begin, I just did a wash of brown over all of the sand, and then a wash of black over some of the rocks. For the marine, I decided to go with an Imperial Fist. Main reason for this was the yellow pops out nicely off the base, and I just like the colors. So, I started with a base coat of a nice thick yellow, and then moved on and I did the rims of his shoulder pads with a dark red, as well as his helmet, and then I did all the metallic bits as well. After that was all done, I moved on and I lined each of the panels with a brown wash. Now, it's important here that you spend all of your time painting the model itself, not the base that we're doing at the moment. So, I did this marine really quickly, because if I was going to have extra time, I was going to put it in the model that was going on the base. The base can be a simple and rudimentary paint scheme, so that it doesn't take away from the model itself. The base should be like the frame to a painting, should complement it, but not take attention away from it. After the panel lining was done, I moved on to adding the chapter symbol. I looked up one photo of this, did a white circle, and then did my best at filling in what I imagined the chapter symbol looked like. You'll see here that my Imperial Fist ended up having 3 fingers. I could have gone back and fixed that, but the 3 looked like they were really evenly spaced, so I left it as is. We are nearly done at this point with the painting. All I did was darken down the sand a bit. I thought the wash was a bit too light, and then while that was still wet, I did a rough dry brush of a cream color. Wanted to add a little bit more something to the base, so I took this bit of barbed wire that I found in my bits box, put some brown on it, put some orange on it. That made it look really nice and rusty, and then I fixed it down to the base with some super glue. The next stage was adding tufts. Now tufts are a super easy way to make a base go from 0 to 100 really quickly. I had 3 different kinds of tufts here. I had a dry grass tuft, a green grass tuft, and red flowers. I added all these on in a random assortment that ended up looking really nice. The red really pops out and it helps the other colours in the model going on the base stand out a lot more. After painting the rim of the base black, I was calling this thing done. All that was left was to put a model on it. I decided to put the 3D printed tank that I painted up on this base. If you want to see a video of me painting this tank and printing it, I'd recommend looking in the top right corner, or you'll find a link in the description below and you'll be able to see that process there. So thanks for watching, guys. Please check out the rest of the videos on my channel, and until next time, have a good one.